Hey guys, welcome to LZH project. My name is Salman Francis and this is part 5 of our Linux monitoring edition with Zabbix. And if you remember from our previous video, we saw what are the basics of SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. And we also configured our Cisco switch to work with SNMP. We saw SNMP get, SNMP translate, and an SNMP walk utilities. Okay, so now we are good to go to add that host or Cisco switch to our Zabbix server. If you remember from our part 1, 2, and 3, we configured this server. This is the same server on 1.50/Zabbix. This is the Zabbix server, and in this server we are going to add our Cisco switch. We are going to create its graph. We will be adding the port to monitor the input and output bandwidth of this Cisco switch. And by doing this, we will be able to configure any SNMP device in future. Also, after doing this, we will be looking at how to configure the triggers, the actions, and then we will also add a Linux server with agent. So then we will have full grasp on Zabbix server as how to configure SNMP devices and any device with the agent installed. Okay, so let's start. So in order to add this device, first we need to go to configuration and then the host. Okay, so you can see that you are here at Zabbix server. Go to configuration, click on the host, and here by default you will see this Zabbix server already added, and this will be added by default when you install Zabbix server. And over here you can see that it's enabled. Okay, so let's go to create a new host from here. Okay, here you give it a name. Let me give it Cisco. So guys, I have not added this Cisco switch as a test or anything, so I'm doing it live over here. And visible name is going to be Cisco SW1, let's say the same. Okay, if you want, you can create a group here as well, like to add Cisco switches or anything. And to add that, you need to go to let me check where. It's the same like here, host groups. Okay, so let's go there first and add a host group. Let's call it switches. Okay, add. Okay, group is added. Now we go to configuration, host, create host, and from here we can select the switch. This is Cisco SW1 or switch 1. You can give it any name. Okay, now the simple thing is we have selected the switches group. Okay, over here you can see that it's showing the agents. Okay, but we are not interested in installing agents, so we are going to remove it. SNMP interface we are interested in. Add, give the IP address of that SNMP device 192.168.1.20 if you remember. Not interested in DNS name, no need to give DNS name. Okay, because if for any reason your internal DNS fails, it will start giving you the problems. So that's it. Here just add the IP address, port is 161. Okay, if just make sure that this port 161 is enabled in your firewall, and so that it has no issues with blocking or something. Okay, over here we are done, but we need to configure these templates, macros, and host inventory. Okay, but let's check. If we click on add, okay, we have added it successfully, but now click it back. Okay, go to templates. So over here, selecting the template is very simple. Just go to like select here, click select, and from here I'm going to select SNMP template, SNMP devices template over here. Okay, just click it and click click select. Okay, and then you click add. Okay, now you can see that this thing or this template is linked with our host Cisco switch. Okay, what's in this template? If you click this, it will show you that this template is SNMP device template, and it has linked templates with template SNMP generic and template SNMP interfaces. So that is the main thing. This and these SNMP generic and SNMP have four subcategories like template SNMP devices, SNMP OS, SNMP Windows. So it is basically a mega package for SNMP device. Basically, that's what does it mean. Okay, so you can close this. Okay, once we are done with this, now let's go to, this is fine, no need to change anything here. Macros, this is important. Okay, and over here we need to mention only the name of this macro, and it is community basically, like you mention it like this, $sign SNMP, and it's going to be underscore community. Okay, and the value is going to be, I think it's man121. That's the key. Add, oh sorry, update. Okay, it's added. Let's go back here. Host inventory is fine. So that is the only thing we wanted to add. So now our devices, our host is added. If you go to host lists, you can see that it's enabled, but it will take some time to be get enabled. So but at the moment you can see it's already populated with 6 items. There are 0 triggers, discovery and applications. So let's click on this device again and check what we can do with it. By default it will take around 1 hour to get enabled. So what we are going to do here, we are going to add a graph, but first let's check this monitoring. Okay, here you can see that the switches group is available now, no disaster. Okay, there are like you can see here the switches is without any problem. Click on the switches and the status is okay right now. The Zabbix server has just been restarted. That's the automatic process. Okay, from here you can select the groups, you can select the hosts here. So at the moment this is not completed, so let's wait for some time. But what we can do right now, we can just make this happen quickly by adding, let's say if you remember the port, first port of our switch, and to check the data, the octets. So we can do right now and see what happens. So but before, let's go to monitoring graphs just to check. So this is the graph of our Zabbix server, but there's nothing else. Okay, okay, go back to configuration and hosts. No graphs right now because we need to enable the graph. Okay, now over here you can see that it's showing that the connection is timeout. Now the reason I wanted to show you this is because of the firewall. Port 161 UDP should be enabled, and if we check system CTL when it's up and running, okay, and firewall so the service is not added yet. So let me turn off this firewall for the moment. And check if this issue is resolved. Let's wait. We need to check if it's pinging the device. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, SNMP is enabled, and I don't know if it's enabled by changing the public string or it just got enabled. Let's wait for some more time. Okay, let's change it back. Okay, configuration, host, I can go here. Yeah, it's working fine. You can see that SNMP is green now. This means it's working fine. So we have successfully added our host. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to draw the graph. Okay, but I'll show you a very simple trick how we can add the graphs. Okay, so because we want to monitor the specific port and the inbound and outbound traffic, we will just go to items, click items. This is how I do it. Okay, you can do whatever way you like, but this is the way I'll do it. I create item and I give it a name. Let's say SW1 port 1, and it's the in port 1. Okay, or you can call it Cisco, whatever, Cisco switch 1 in. Basically this is going to be the inbound traffic. I'm going to change it to SNMP. Okay, yeah, SNMP is fine. Okay, the key is very important. Key is you can call it let's say Cisco switch. Same thing. No dashes, you can say it like this, Cisco in SW1. Okay, host interface is fine, 1.20. Okay, now this is here, if you remember from our discussion when we were using SNMP get and SNMP walk, we need to put that information actually. And if you remember from our discussion that we only need if in octets tets.1. Okay, and how we can check this? We can just copy this and go to our SUSE box, So this is port 1, basically where my cable is connected. So this is the item I need to add it, okay, into my Zabbix server. So if in octets 1. If you remember, the SNMP community is Salmon 121. Port by default it's going to use 161, so no need to add it. Okay, over here I need to change it to 5, update in 5 every 5 seconds. Okay, and this is new flexible interval. I'm not going to change this. Okay, here the important thing is the data type is fine. Units is going to be BPS or bits per second, and because I need to by default they are in kilobits per second, kilobytes per second I think. And so here we need to multiply it with 8, because in order to change bits to kilobits you have to multiply by 8, because you know that 1 byte has 8 bits. Okay, so multiple is going to be 8. Okay, here storage history, I want to keep this history or this information for 30 days, not more than that. Stored value is going to be delta speed per second. Okay, and shown value is as is. New application I'm not going to mention, it's an interface, so I'm going to add interface here, and here I'm going to add let's say description Cisco switch 1 inbound traffic. Okay, and add. Perfect, it's added. Now I'm going to click it again, and I'm going to go at the bottom, click on clone. Why? Because for inbound we need outbound also. Okay, so we can measure the total bandwidth. Okay, I have clicked clone. Now here this is the same thing. Instead of in, I'm going to change out. Out. This is out. Everything else is same. Here outbound. Click add. Perfect. Now we have 2 devices enabled, or 2 more items enabled, and you can see that we have total 8 items now. Okay, why we added these 2 items? Because we want to measure the total bandwidth. And now we need to add the graph. Just click on the graph. You can see at the moment there's 0 graph. Click here, make sure that the host is switch 1, create graph, give it Cisco switch 1 full BD port 1. Okay, you can name it anything. Type, you can select the graph types. I'm selecting normal graph, show legends, whatever you want to change you can change it. Everything is fine. All we need to do is select here add, select these 2 items, inbound and outbound, click select. You can see it's going to tell you that the inbound traffic will be shown in green, the outbound is going to be shown in red. Okay, good to go. Click add, and now we can see that there's 1 graph. Okay, and if we click on this and go to monitoring, graphs, here we have now the group switches available, host Cisco switch 1, and perfect. You can see that the graph started to work. This is how simple you can create or add a Zabbix device, SNMP device, and create graph out of it. And you can see at the bottom it's showing you the speed in kbps, bps, like the minimum, the maximum, and the average speed. So we have successfully added our Cisco device to our Zabbix monitor. Let's wait for a few seconds and we will see that. Or let me ping this device so it will just make some. Say dot you can see that when we were not pinging, this graph was it was not that high, but after this ping the graph is on the top, on the peak. Let me close, shut down the ping, and the graph went back. Let's wait for another 5 seconds. Okay, and the graph height dropped. Let's click again. And the graph will jump back anyway. So perfect, everything is working fine, and it will take a while, like almost you can say 1 hour or something, then we would be able to see this graph in full. But anyway, this is the full bandwidth. From here you can, if you just go to this again, to this configuration, hosts and graphs, select this. You can also change the graph type to pi and then click on preview. It will give you the preview, how it will look. Give it a stacked preview. This is how it's looking right now, or it will look. Exploded will give you this kind of look. So perfect, we have successfully added the graph and added our first device to Zabbix. So you can go to monitoring also. You can also check the latest data, and it will give you information about any latest entries, graphs. You can see that this is the latest graphs, latest data, any updates or something. But we will come back to this latest data when we will be configuring our triggers. Okay, so that's the end of part 5, and I will catch you in part 6. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe.